one challenge for beginners in Fusion 360 is learning assemblies, having a proper workflow, how to deal with components. There's a terrific course on Autodesk University from Jim Swain. It's an hour. I'm going to distill it down for you right now in 8 minutes. Here we go. Let's jump right into the good stuff. You want to start a brand new design, save your file, and then immediately create your first component. And this will be activated by default. And this, of course, is following rule number 1 if you're familiar with some of the other Fusion 360 experts and teachings, coaching out there. Next, create your sketches and your features in that active component. Then repeat as needed. Basically, create your other components with your other sketches and features as you need to. And one big thing that he stressed was using a rigid as-built joint as opposed to using grounding. And you're going to do that rigid as-built joint to the first component to your top browser node. So at the beginning, just starts with files. Just need to understand a little bit about file structure in Fusion 360, where you have teams at the highest level. You own one team, you get a team when you get Fusion 360, but you can also be invited to a lot of different teams. And beneath that is projects, and beneath projects is folders, and that's where you can organize your data. And here's a little snapshot he created where you've got team at the top, then project, then folders. Stop talking and show it in Fusion. Here in Fusion 360, we have the team at the top level where I can switch between my different teams that I've either been invited to or that I own. And then if I drill down, I can see the project level, which is my Tech and Espresso project, which has lots of different folders in it. And this is the specific folder where my files happen to live. Now, over in the browser, I can look at it a little bit closer and see like the top level file and then these components that live within this file. A quick takeaway is you can have different teams, of course, but you can only open one top level team at a time. So you'll need to close and open the other. And don't forget about the web view. In Fusion 360, if you see this little globe here, you can click on that and it will pop open a browser experience. Here in the web view, this is where you can use the browser to look through the team, through the project and folder, and then you can also look at all the versions that exist. So first is rule number 1. If you're brand new to Fusion 360, you want to always save and start a component when you're going to be working with any kinds of assembly. Next thing is notice the active component and then build your bodies and volumes and keep those sketches together. So let's see it in action. So here I am in a new design of Fusion 360. Maybe you save it if you want to be extra careful. Save early, save often. You'll notice the top level is activated. And if you're going to build any kind of an assembly, you want to do a new component. You can click this button here, or of course, right click, do new component right from the start. And then you'll notice that activate is already toggled on by default. This is an internal component that lives within this file. You can give it a quick name if that's helpful, but I now have the new component and it's activated with this little dot here. Now, whenever I do any sketching, any builds here, if I start a new sketch, front plane, I sketch the rectangular shape, giving it some depth. The important thing that's happening here is everything that I do is going to be living underneath this component. So like when we look at this large assembly of a bike frame and we use this color investigation, we can see all of these features that all exist at the top level, and that can be quite overwhelming trying to make sense of this. When we drill down into a specific component, we can see all the sketches and features that were applied to that component, and that is better. It's a better experience. So when we look back at this design, we just want to be careful that it's clear where sketches and features go. When you're going to add sketches and volumes to a design, you want to avoid that who sketches it anyways, keeping the sketches and features at the component level. And turning on the component color display is a big advantage. Here I have two simple components, and you'll notice that at the top level, it's breaking the features apart into different colors for us. But we can go a step further. We turn this lower level timeline on with the component color swatch. So now it's off. Go to the toggle here, turn it on. And then what we want to do is we can do Shift in, and you'll see that these colors correspond to these features here as well as to the browser. You can use your inspect to toggle this display component colors on and off.
But is there a way to adjust the color?
And it sounds like we are basically locked into these color schemes. We can't really adjust them or change them. We're kind of stuck with what Fusion 360 gives us.
Any other tips for starting a new component?
Yeah, Jim had an excellent tip when it comes to starting a new component. One thing you want to be really careful of is starting the new component with another one active. So you can see that this little cylinder component 2 is active. And when I go to start a new component, by default, this wants to add effectively like a subcomponent within this component. And you'll notice the little bricks, it goes to the little Lego blocks as opposed to the single block. So usually by default, you're probably wanting separate components for each one. So just be careful of that. You can select the top node and do new component, and that will create a brand new standalone component, which is what you want. Or at any time when you do new component, you can come over to the dialog and clear this and be sure to select the top level, and then it will allow you to create a new subcomponent even though this was pre-selected. Jim does spend a little time on joints, but really his only takeaway on assembling things together is we use joints in Fusion, and be sure to use a rigid group instead of grounding. Grounding is adequate unless you're going to use that assembly in a lot of different other assemblies. So the rigid as-built joint is his favorite. Let's look at it. So in this assembly that I have, you can see this moves around, right? All of my components are free to move about until we've added a joint to them. So what I'm going to do is for this first component, I want to use what's called an as-built joint. It's going to effectively take into account where it was already designed and placed in space. So I'll use that between this and my top level of the design, the top node, if you want to call it that. I hit OK. It now has this rigid as-built joint connecting it to the top level of the assembly. Okay, a little bit about collaboration, working with other people on a Fusion 360 design. You can see the little token for people that have ownership or are working on that file. When basically only one person can be editing, and the data panel shows a white circle for the editor, this little white dot. Over here, you can see the little white dot. His advice was to divide and conquer, and this helps the collaboration. So if it would be helpful to have all my notes in an easy to follow format, I've put them on my website. You can download them for free. I'll put the link in the description.